Good day, everyone. Welcome back sa ating Math 21 tutorial series. And in this video, we're going to review on the concepts of derivatives, differentiation rules, and higher order derivatives. So let's start muna sa pag-recall ng definition ng tangent and normal lines. The tangent line to the graph of f at point P is defined as A, the line passing through P with slope m, where m is equal to the limit of this one as delta x approaches 0, given that the limit exists. Or B, the vertical line, x equals x sub 0, if the limit of this one, as delta x approaches 0 from the right or 0 from the left, is equal to positive infinity or negative infinity. So dapat, ayan, ganyan. So ngayon nalaman na natin yung tangent line. Ano naman yung normal line? So yung normal line to the graph of f at P is the line perpendicular to the tangent line at P. So kapag recall lang natin, no, kapag sinabing perpendicular, so meron, di ba meron tayong tangent line and normal line. So kung si tangent line ay may slope na m, ibig sabihin nun, ang slope ni normal line is the negative reciprocal of the slope of the tangent line. So ayan, bale yung slope dapat ni normal line is negative 1 over m. Ayun, klaro tayo dun ha. So recall din natin yung definition ng derivative. So the derivative of f of x is this one, f prime of x equals the limit of this one as delta x approaches 0. So very familiar kasi nakita nyo na yung similar form nga dun sa pag-review natin ng concept ng tangent line or ng slope ng tangent line. So basically, if you're going to find the derivative of a function, you're finding the slope of its tangent line. So the derivative of f of x can be also denoted as this, no? d sub x of f of x. Tapos, if y equals f of x, then dy dx equals f prime of x. So these are just other denotations or other ways to write or to denote derivatives. Recall din natin yung rules on differentiation, no? Kasi ang hassle naman kung gagamitin natin yung mahabang formula kanina. So, let f of x and g of x be functions, c be a real number, and n be a rational number. So first things first, no? The derivative of c, which we say any real number, is 0. The derivative naman of x raised to a rational number is equal to yan, n times x raised to n minus 1. The derivative naman ng constant times f of x is equal to constant times the derivative of f of x. So ito naman yung ano natin, yung sum rule. So yung derivative ng sum or difference ng two functions ay equal sa sum or difference ng derivatives ng dalawang function na yun. Product rule naman, so yung derivative ng product ng dalawang function ay ito, derivative ng first function times the second function plus first function times the derivative of the second function. So, ano siya? Right be left plus left be right. So, baka narinig din na siya sa inyong mga instructors. So, it's really important na may mnemonics kayo para madali nyo siyang natatandaan. Tapos, quotient rule naman, ayan. So, yung derivative ng quotient ng dalawang function is equal to the second function rather times the derivative of the first function minus the first function times the derivative of the second function all over the square of the second function. So kung gusto niyo ng mnemonic dito, it's low d high minus high d low over all over low squared. So yon. Then recall lang din natin no yung derivatives ng trigonometric function. So the derivative of sine x is cosine x. The derivative of cosine x is negative sine x. The derivative of tangent x is secant squared x. Derivative of cotangent x is negative cosecant squared x. The derivative of secant x is secant x tangent x. And the derivative of cosecant x is negative cosecant x cotangent x. So it's good to note no na yung mga trigonometric function na nagsisimula sa letters has a negative in there. Ayun. Ayan. So we have here higher order derivatives. So let f of x be a function and n be a natural number. The nth derivative of f of x is this one, no? The derivative of the n minus 1 derivative of f of x. So let's say ang hinahanap natin ay yung third derivative. For example lang, so ibig sabihin nun, we're essentially finding the derivative of the second derivative of that function. Ayun. So, another example, sige, sabihin natin second derivative yung hinahanap. So basically, you're essentially finding the derivative of the first derivative. Yan. So, kung gusto niyo ng mahabang formula, ayan. So basically, same form lang siya kagaya nung nakita ninyo sa definition ng derivative. So, yeah. The nth derivative of f of x can be also denoted as this one, no? Ayan, so we have prepared 3 problems for you, and the first one is on tangent and normal lines. So find the equations of the tangent and normal lines in slope-intercept form to the graph of this function at the point where x equals 0. So iset muna natin yung line. So let L sub 1 and L sub 2 be the tangent and normal lines to the graph of f at x equals 0 respectively. Next naman, syempre may line tayo, hanapin natin yung slope. So kung maalala nyo sa previous slides natin, yung slope ng tangent line to the function at a given point is the derivative of the given function. So yung slope ng ating tangent line, or this one, is equal to the derivative of f evaluated at x equals 0. Tapos yung normal line naman natin is perpendicular to the tangent line. So dapat yung slope ng ating normal line is the negative reciprocal of that slope of our tangent line. So hanapin natin yung derivative ng ating function para mahanap natin yung slope ng tangent line. The f prime of x is equal to 4x cubed minus 18x squared plus 5. So you can verify this by yourselves, no? Ngayon, gusto nating mahanap si f prime evaluated at x equals 0. So isa-substitute natin ngayon si 0 dun sa x ng f prime. So we plug in 0, then we get a f prime of 0 equals 5. Ibig sabihin nun, yung slope ng ating tangent line is equal to 5. And yung slope naman ng ating normal line is equal to the negative reciprocal of the slope of our tangent line, which is negative 1/5. So, yan, meron na tayong x, meron na tayong slope, kailangan natin yung y. So, i-evaluate natin si f of 0. So, si f of 0, ayan, ipa-plug in lang natin yung 0 dun sa x na makikita natin sa original function na given. So, we get an f of 0 equals negative 1. So may x na tayo, may y na tayo, may slope na din tayo. So we can now determine the slope-intercept form ng tangent line equation. So the equation of L sub 1 or our tangent line is equal to y minus negative 1, nanggaling siya dito, equals 5, which is the slope. Tapos x minus 0, yun yung yung x value natin. So by simplifying this, we get y equals 5x minus 1. So, ito na yung equation natin for the tangent line. So, hanapin naman natin yung equation ng normal line, no? So, the equation of our normal line is equal to y minus negative 1 equals negative 1/5 times quantity x minus 0. So, yung negative 1/5, nanggaling siya dito. Yan. So, by simplifying this, we get y equals negative 1/5 of x minus 1. So, ito na yung equation ng ating normal line. So, bali itong dalawa yung sagot. Ayan.
Problem solved!
So, yung second problem naman natin is on the definition of the derivative. And gagamitin natin to find the derivative of this function. So, we have here f of x equals cosine squared x. Ang first step natin, syempre, lalatag lang muna natin yung formula for the derivative according to the definition. So, we have this one. Tapos, i-plug in lang natin si f, which is cosine squared. So, we now have this one, no? Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung numerator natin is the difference between two squares. Ayan. So, we can express this as the product of the sum and difference of two terms. With the first term being cosine of quantity, x plus delta x, the second term being cosine x. So, ayan, sum and difference of two terms. Now, we can simplify this one, no, using angle addition. So, we can express this as this part. So, we have here cosine x, cosine delta x, minus sine x, sine delta x. Tapos, kinopya lang natin si plus cosine x. So additional lang, binabalang muna natin or hiwalay muna natin rather si 1 over delta x. Magagamit natin siya later. Same procedure lang no sa pag express ng ating second factor sa numerator. So we have this one. So ito yung angle addition niya. Then kinopya natin si minus cosine x. So pagsamahin natin itong dalawang to, si 1 over delta x, saka itong term na to, or itong factor na to rather. So ayan siya. We copied the remaining factor, then pinagsama natin to. So kung mapapansin niyo no, pwede nating gamitin dito yung special trigonometric limits. So kopyahin lang muna natin yung first factor, then ayan siya. Wala, baka nagtataka kayo, paano natin to nakuha? So isa-isahin natin. So, itong second factor natin, pwede natin siyang hatiin into two parts. So, yung first part is this one. Ayan, mali ata akong nagamit. Anyway, so we have this one. So we have cosine x times quantity cosine delta x minus 1 all over delta x. Then the second part naman is this one. So we have here negative sine x sine delta x all over delta x. So, ayan, isa-isahin natin ngayon. So we have here cosine x. So kinopya lang natin siya. Then we can express this one, yung cosine delta x minus 1 all over delta x into this one, no? Para maging ano siya, special trigonometric limit. So we negate cosine delta x, so naging negative cosine delta x siya. Then we negate also negative 1, so we have here 1. And dahil ni-negate natin siya, ito yung resulta. We have negative 1 here as a factor. Tapos this one, ayan, meron na siyang all over delta x. So, hanapin natin yung limit neto as delta x approaches 0. Next naman, yung second part. So, we have here negative sine x. Kinopya natin siya. Negative sine x. Then, ayan, for special trigonometric identity, or special trigonometric limits, we have here sine delta x over delta x. So, hanapin naman natin yung limit neto as delta x approaches 0. So kung naalala ninyo, yung limit nito as delta x approaches 0 equals 0. Tapos yung limit naman nito as delta x approaches 0 is 1. So sana natatandaan nyo to sa sa module 1 ninyo, sa module on limits. So we can simplify this one. So ito yung hati niya. Ayan. So for this one, we have negative cosine x times 0. Nanggaling siya dito, negative cosine x, tapos ito 0. Tapos, minus sine x, ito siya. Then, yung limit nito as delta x approaches 0 is 1. Tapos, itong first factor din, in-evaluate na din natin siya. So we have here the limit of this one as delta x approaches 0. So pinlog in na natin si 0 dun sa delta x. So we simplify this na. So ayan, negative cosine x times 0. Of course, magka-cancel out to kasi dinultiply natin sa 0. So x na siya. Then negative sine x times 1 equals negative sine x. So ito siya ngayon. So cosine ng 0 is 1. So cosine x times 1 is equal to cosine x. Then copy plus cosine x. Then sine 0 is 0. So eventually magka-cancel out tong part na to. Pero ayan, for this purpose, sinulat lang natin siya plus 0. But yeah, ka-cancel out din naman siya. So meron na tayong 2 cosine x kasi sinimplify natin to times negative sine x. So by simplifying it further, we have here negative 2 sine x cosine x. So ito yung derivative ng cosine squared x. Ito na yung ating final answer.
Problem solved.
Ayan. So, nandito na tayo sa last problem for this video. So, nag-prepare kami ng dalawang items para sa inyo. Yung isa ay sasagutan natin ngayon. Yung isa ay sasagutan ninyo para may exercise kayo. So, yung first item is to find the second derivative of this expression. So kung maalala ninyo, para mahanap natin yung nth derivative ng isang function, hanapin muna natin yung lower order derivatives. So to find the second derivative, you need to find first the first derivative. So i-differentiate muna natin to, or dadaan muna na to ng first step ng differentiation. So we find the derivative, no, of 2x sine x plus x squared over x minus 1. So, start tayo, no? Pwede nating hatiin tong first term natin into this one. So we have here 2x times sine x. So using product rule, for the derivative, we get the derivative of 2x, which is 2 times sine x, plus 2x times the derivative of sine x, which is cosine x. So okay na tayo dito, no? Okay na tayo dito. So next naman is to find the derivative of this part, this term. So low di high, high di low, kung naalala nyo. So low, we have here x minus 1 times d high, or derivative ng numerator. So derivative ng x squared is 2x. Minus high di low. So we copy the numerator, then find the derivative of the denominator. So the derivative of the denominator, which is x minus 1, is equal to 1. Tapos ito, yung low di high, high di low, all over the square of low. So we have here x minus 1 squared. By simplifying it, we get this one, no? So, yan. You can solve this naman. So, pupunta tayo sa 2 sine x plus 2x cosine x plus x squared minus 2x all over, ayan, x squared minus 2x plus 1. So, ngayon nahanap na natin yung derivative neto. Hahanapin naman natin yung second derivative. So, di-differentiate natin to. So, the second derivative, ayan. Hala, so saan ang galing, no? So, hiniwalay lang natin si 2. So, pwede natin siyang, ayan. So, we have here 2 times the derivative of sine x, which is cosine x. Tapos, plus, ito naman, ayan, hatiin natin. So, we have here 2x times cosine x. So, yung paghanap ng derivative nito, so we have here the derivative of 2x, which is 2 times yung natin, yung other factor natin, which is cosine x. So we have here 2 cosine x. Tapos, bakit siya naging minus? Baka nagtataka lang kayo. So, ito ay nanggaling sa derivative ng cosine x. So kung maalala ninyo, ang derivative ng cosine x ay negative sine x. So, ayun siya. Then, kinopya natin si 2x. So, ito ngayon, yung derivative nito. So, hanapin naman natin yung derivative ng ating third term, which is this one. So, ayan, low di high, high di low over low squared. So, low times the derivative of high, or the numerator, minus high times the derivative of low. Or baliktad ata ako ng hinighlight. Anyway, ito yung, I think tama pala. Oo, tama lang. Tapos, all over low squared. So, we simplify the first, no, yung madaling part. So, we have here dalawang cosine x, no? Dalawang 2 cosine x rather. So, we have here 4 cosine x kasi inad natin sila, minus 2x sine x. So, we copy this one. Paleto siya. Tapos, yan na siya. So, di na natin siya sinimplify. I think, in your exams naman, hindi talaga nagpapasimplify if the solutions are too long na. So it will also be explicitly stated sa directions ng magiging exam ninyo. So I hope na nakuha ninyo yung konsepto na tinalakay natin sa video na ito. Ayun, see you in the next videos.
Yay!